Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your captain and host, Julian Brown, and no, the Starbase 80 shuttlecraft Shippy McShuttleface was not harmed during this week's episode of Disco. Just so everybody knows, it's okay. Everything turned out fine. We're good. I'm joined as always by the best bridge crew this side of the, I was going to say something completely different, and that was not Quantum Torpedo. This side of a Quantum Torpedo, Lieutenant Hawk and Commander Girafe. Glory to you in your houses. How we doing tonight?
Great.
Doing okay.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yes, she has a lot to be happy for today.
You do.
Yes.
You
I'm
got
an official permanent resident of the US of A. I received a pamphlet who's telling me, welcome to the United States. Look at this. Incredible.
welcome. By the way, we're going to war with Russia. You're welcome.
Yay! It's the 80s again.
Boy.
Yay!
It's good to see so many people in the stream chat tonight. We have a good show planned for you. Eric and Brittany are off this week, but will return to help us kick off Captain Picard week. Next week, the festivities begin. It's going to be really exciting. Speaking of Captain Picard week, the full schedule is live. You can check that out right now on strangenewpod.com. Right as you scroll, the first thing you see is the giant logo. You click that. It takes us right to the schedule. Pretty awesome. Amazing podcasts involved. I know that you, Hawk, just you recorded your show already for Trek Untold. That's going to be a great episode.
Yeah. We focus on Picard and the Borg and the trauma that came with it.
Indeed, and there's a lot of trauma there. And Girafe, I believe you are going to be guesting on Paramount Merchants podcast for theirs.
Yeah. Apparently we're all doing this right now.
Yeah.
After Brit and you. And we're going to talk about the friendship between Picard and Guinan. So I'm very excited about it. I have to do my rewatch of TNG. It's giving me homework.
Yep. Yes. I have a lot of episodes to do. I'm guesting on the Duras Sisters podcast to talk about Picard and his diplomacy, which is one of my favorite things about Jean-Luc Picard. They sent me a great episode list. We're going to have a lot of great episodes to talk about there. Captain Picard week is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I know that all the shows involved are excited. It's just going to be a blast. And you get Captain Picard week a little bit earlier because our rewatch series of Picard season 1 begins this Monday. So just a few short days. Are you going to like it a little bit more? Are you going to like it a little less? Who knows? But we're going to have fun.
You're going to like it because I'm going to be screaming about Romulans now for 10
and
episodes.
And every night you're going to have a chance to win these stickers, the cheeky fucker stickers of Laris, and they're amazing. So every night you'll have a chance to win one of these, and it's awesome. Can't wait for the Picard rewatch. I can't wait for Captain Picard week. A lot to get to. So before we get into it, let's thank our patrons at the Ready Room level and above. Hawk, let's hit it.
Thank you to Simon Stager, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kang Wee, Haven, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernando Nogales, SMK, Ian Davies, Amy Grace, Laura Linderman, Reasonable Stranger, and Colin Davidson. Thank you for being
on. You guys rock.
Thank you.
Yeah. Patron chat's been hopping. We did our first post-pod hang last week. That was a lot of fun. That was really cool.
That was nice.
Yeah, we had drinks.
There was a lot of me talking about weird weird fan fictions. So
there was. Be aware. It's okay. It's all right. It happens. Yeah. Guys, the Strange New Loop this week is going to be an extended Strange Loop. It's basically its own topic, but we're going to get right into that. It is this week's Strange New Loop. And like I said, a little bit extended this week because of the big news from J.J. Abrams at the Paramount Investor Showcase that Star Trek 4 is on the way with the original cast. So that was announced. And it is not Star Trek 4, the whale one. This is just Star Trek 4, the Kelvinverse, that might also have whales. Who knows? That's going to be anything. The question. Real quick, Galaxy Star Queen 77 on Twitch says, Picard Week is not going to be awesome. It's going to be epic, and I can't wait to listen to all the amazing pod talent. Agreed. I'm so excited that you're excited. So yes, it's happening with or without whales. Who knows? It's Star Trek. Production is slated to start later this year. And the original cast, now I'm going to put this in quotations, is tied to the project. So let's do this in 3 steps, because we'll get to that quotations a little bit later. And Twitch, please feel free to get involved here. What do you guys think about this news?
It's great. It's a new Star Trek movie. You know, we get to see a little more of the Kelvinverse. We got our original cast coming back.
He said it first.
You know what, Girafe?
Yeah.
Get off my bridge.
That's where we're living in the movie realm right now, is in the Kelvinverse, you know, and I'm here for that.
I screamed.
You did.
My happiness had no bounds. I was so happy. I squeaked. I screamed. I was like, ah!
Squeaked and squealed.
Yeah. I'm so happy. I love these movies. I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with Uhura. It's 2023. We're like, what, 10 years after the last one?
2009, 2019, 10, yeah, like 13 years, something like that.
2019 is 2009 was the first one.
Yeah.
The Beyond was 2013, I think.
Yeah,
no?
and
am I wrong?
and Beyond, I think, was 16 or 17. So
That is crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so long after. I do hope they're gonna. I've been saying that over and over again. I want to know what happened to the Federation without Vulcan. I want to know, and they have to. They're contracted. They have to give me that. Give me that.
they're contracted to do that, are they?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll burn down that franchise. I will.
Oh, that's funny.
It's an unspoken verbal contract that she made up in her head, but it's a
Girafe
contract
visited
nonetheless.
Paramount Studios and was like, sign
actually.
this paper,
I did.
please. Oh man. Oh, Hawk, I just have to say, going off topic real quick, I just noticed the pun in your in your background. And wait, hold on. That deserves actually like a full round. There it is. Here we go. Well done. Giraffes is good too, but I gotta give it.
I went OG. I went OG.
I gotta give it.
Jeep.
I gotta give it to the Jeep. I gotta give it to the Jeep. That's awesome. Let's move on to the next question, and this is where I believe Butch Lepew's comments have already come into play. The original cast is quote unquote slated to come back, but a few reports have said that Paramount does not have the money to do that. Especially with them saying at that investor showcase that they're going to be sinking like $6.1 billion into their streaming like there's not their platform, but like their streaming shows like Discovery, Strange New Worlds, 1883, Yellowstone, things like that. So I guess can they actually make good on the promise that the original crew is coming back? Are they going to take out a loan? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay. First of all, Quinto said that he was not gonna do another Star Trek, if I remember well. Then he came back. Then he left. I don't know. What is he doing? Where is he?
He's not doing much, right?
No.
Just being shirtless on Instagram.
I don't know. He's not been on Instagram for a year. Like, feed me, man.
It's really scary.
I will pay
that you know that.
Shut up. You know I know that. And then, I mean, I'm really sorry, but Anton Yelchin, they're not going to replace him, right?
No, they specifically said that they're not going to recast the character.
I mean, okay, they're not recasting Chekhov, so they need to change the story, right? Like, good, it's the Kelvinverse. They can say whatever they want.
He got transferred. You know where he got transferred to? The Reliant.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't know. They're old now.
They're not old. Come on. They're all in their 40s, right? 40s, early 50s.
It's gonna be like kind of like Star Trek 4.
Let's ask Siri.
One.
How old is Chris Pine?
Old.
Okay, I have the answer. I have the answer.
Woman?
What are your guesses?
Okay. It's 50 something.
Wrong. Hawk.
No. If he's in his 40s, it's his early 40s. I'm going to say 42.
Ooh, you're so close at 41 years old. He's
almost my age.
Yeah, he's not that old.
He looks old. Look at me.
Yeah,
Look
but
at
you're
me. Do I-
I can't.
you're Greek French. I mean, you have amazing genes. I don't know what Chris
Greek
Pine is.
French? I'm not Greek.
Okay, no, you speak Greek. I always forget that. I just automatically always assume that you're part Greek because I think you speak ancient and full Greek, right? Right?
Yes, I do.
See?
Yeah, all the kind of
I know what I'm
Greeks,
talking
absolutely.
about. I know what I'm talking about. I just want to read Butch Lepu's comment here real quick. They're in talks, quote unquote, with the OG cast, so we'll see if they can get them all. And that kind of leads here. Actually, there's a few more comments. Chris Pine is now older than William Shatner was during TOS. I mean, sure. Joaquin slowly says they mentioned in a few reports this is the movie to be directed by WandaVision's Matt Shagman, and that makes even more excited for it. Yes, that is very exciting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to issue a public apology to Chris Pine for saying that he's 50.
Yeah,
But
you should
he looked
apologize. That's
he
just
looked
mean.
He looked terrible in that Wonder Woman movie. Come on. For
Okay,
real.
but everybody looked terrible in that Wonder Woman movie
No,
because it wasn't very good. Except for Gal
I
Gadot.
look at every single picture of Chris Pine coming out of bookstores. It's my feel good thing. Okay, well, I'll drink coffee, and he looks great in real pictures. I don't know what they did to him on that movie. Ooh.
Nothing good. Galaxy
sorry.
Star Queen says I was like, wait, what? And then proceeded to scream and just have happy tears. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Haven, I'm absolutely excited for this. All I hope is there will be some major tie-in, like how we had a reference in Star Trek Discovery Season 3. So we'll see.
And
we'll see. And then
NY Raleigh writes Shatner was 39 when TOS was canceled.
no.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, they were in the late 30s.
I mean, Shatner
in
looked
TOS.
good. I mean, DeForest Kelly wasn't.
Dude, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. You know I love TOS, but look at TOS. Look at them, with their stained teeth, and they look like they look like in the end of their 30s. They look like they went through life. And look at Discovery; they all look like top models. And I'm like, come on, Star Trek, give me these shaggy, weird 30-year-olds on a spaceship. Bring back TOS. Bring it back. The yesification of TOS. That's what I call AOS.
Let me ask you guys another question here. If they weren't able to get the entire crew back, would you watch a Kelvinverse movie with only a portion of that crew signed on to do it?
I mean, as Star Trek podcasters and that, we're kind of legally obligated. We're going to watch it no matter what.
But are you going to be as excited for it, I guess?
Yeah, no, I won't, because the whole thing about Star Trek and is the family aspect, right? And it's if they come back with half the family and just because of budget considerations,
Hawk,
that would make me very sad.
This isn't Fast and the Furious. What are you doing talking about family?
It's family.
Family.
It's always been about the family.
It's always been about the family, Dom. Oh,
what
man.
if it's TNG Kelvinverse though?
No.
And they just are here at the beginning to give away. Hey, they
Patrick
hinted
Stewart
to
is still. Well, I guess William Shatner's still alive too.
Discovery Season 3, they hinted at a TNG Kelvinverse with Commander Yor. Lieutenant Yor.
No. So
no, you want the proof? I have the receipt, man.
Stop it! I have it too. Stop it! As that scene when Bones keeps nitpicking at Jim, it's stop it! No. So what Kovic said specifically was, this is Agent Yor. He is from the Kelvinverse. He was a time agent who was in the TNG universe, as you could tell by the exact 1980 season 1 uniform. Yes, he was from the Kelvin universe, but he wasn't from the TNG portion of he was time travel, man. He was a Kelvinverse person who was born and raised in the Kelvinverse, who was a time agent from that universe, who went into the time stream to the TNG Prime universe as a sleeper agent person thing.
Someone give me that Mariner meme, which is
pointing at the board, right? Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
All creatures.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just want to know if Spock and Uhura had babies.
They probably had little half Vulcan babies. It's okay. Yes. It's all right. I just want to know what happened to Archer. I just want to know what happened to Archer's beagle. Can we get a resolution to that? I'll be happy. I don't know how I feel about if they can't get all the people, because that's like billions of dollars that they are going to have to pay that cast. They've all done bigger, and I don't want to say better things, because those movies they have their place.
There's nothing better than Star Trek. Come on.
I mean, listen, we're doing this podcast right now.
It's hard to imagine like Star Trek doesn't have the money.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like Paramount, if they want to do it and if they want to make the money off of it, like they could take out the loan. They'll probably make that money back with other things. Like look at the money that Scream brought in for them, right? Like that movie was not good and it made them bank. So the money is there somewhere, right? The money's always there somewhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let me get into the final question, the actual Strange New Loop, which is you guys and Twitch, you're a member of the production team for Star Trek 4. Story still kind of hasn't been decided on, right? What are you pitching for Star Trek 4? And no, you are not allowed to say whales. Barring whales right now.
Though, that would be so epic. You imagine they pull that, Bo? I'd be laughing for like 2 hours. I'd be like so into it.
Yep.
No, I hope a absolutely new story. Something like Beyond, something like, I want like to see what happened after Beyond, but we should be 10 years later, right? So I don't know, maybe something going a little bit more on politics, like Star Trek can do, and like less bang, bang, pew, 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 something that is more complex, more having to do with the Federation. Maybe the Federation doesn't exist anymore. That could be interesting.
I mean, we've been kind of through that a little bit, though, with Disco, right?
I do want to see what happened to the Federation without Vulcan. I hope they go into really 10 years. I mean, even more now, right? 2009. I can count.
No, so it's like 13 years, right?
13 years.
14 years. Let's call it 14 years.
14 years after the destruction of Vulcan, what happens? I want to see that. I want to know that. And I hope it's more like, it's less, let's run.
We don't need Fast and Furious and Star Trek again, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I hope it's more.
Yeah. Hawk, how about you? What are you pitching?
Yeah, more on the cerebral tip.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see any more on the Federation right now. And that what I want is just like one of those standalone stories where they are faced with something like an omniscient presence that they have, no idea what's going on in that. They're isolated, cut off. So it's just the crew, it's the Enterprise, and anything that doesn't threaten like the Federation again. I think we've done that story a couple times already in that, we did a Nero and that one to destroy the Federation and that. And two,
I saw it happen.
Yeah. Oh,
Hi, Christopher.
Don't tell me it didn't happen. We had Khan trying to destroy the Federation and that. We had Crawl trying to destroy the Federation and that. So let's leave the Federation out, on the back burner and that. Let's take them out into deep space exploration, the final frontier, and give them something that they have to use their minds to defeat.
I dig it.
Have you read the Enterprise War, the novel?
It's on my list. I actually bought it. I have it finally. I just haven't read it yet.
So actually a story like this could be good. I don't know if people have read it, but they're stuck in a nebula and they cannot get out. And there's like a whole side story that happens while there's the Klingon war outside in the Federation, and they're stuck there, and it's a kind of complex. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like this could be fun.
I'm not joking when I say this. I want Klingons. I feel like these 3 movies have done an incredible disservice to the Klingons. And I know that you said like less pew pew, less action. And I don't know if you necessarily need action to do a Klingon movie, but listen, Admiral Marcus in Into Darkness was like, we are on the precipice of war with the Klingons. This is something that happens in that universe. It's something that's happened in the Prime universe. It would be really cool to actually explore that in a film and really do it, because we get it in Discovery, and even then, like most of season 1 is like offshoot episodes where they're here and there, and then they're in the mirror universe, and then the war kind of just it ends, right? And then like they're working with the Klingons in the next season. So I would really like a political, with some action, like a political thriller Star Trek movie having to do with maybe like a version of almost like a Cold War, right? Hey, listen, Star Trek's always with the times, right? We're kind of in another small Cold War, whatever we want to call this, going on with Russia and Ukraine right now. It would be a really neat story. So give it to me, because that also gives Chris Pine a chance to maybe play that part of Kirk who doesn't have that disdain towards the Klingons because they haven't wronged him in this universe. It would be a really interesting move. Let me get to Twitch here a little bit. Strange Loop Haven, I appreciate this. Strange Loop question 3. I would have them back in time at the advice of Future Guy. I guess, is that from Future Guy being from Enterprise? Maybe?
Enterprise,
yep.
yeah.
Which no one knows
yeah.
until the very end. That is Cisco. Okay.
What?
Whoa. All right. But someone
Hot
prevents the Bell riots, which I think they're going to be covering. I listen, we haven't even done our thoughts on what's happening in Picard season 2, but I think when they go back in time, that's dealing with the Bell riots. So we'll see. And they need to fix things entirely. Oh, I should have read the entire thing before saying that. Oh, wait, this sounds like Picard season 2. My bad, Haven. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Does anybody want to read a couple of these comments? We have a couple from NY Riley here, or that's just a question.
I can read.
I
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
question.
Yeah.
Do you think they do? Oh, sorry.
You could read it.
You do this one. I'll do the next one.
Okay. Do you think they do something nuts and wind up resetting the timeline to wipe out the Kelvinverse?
I dig it. I dig it.
Very low key. Very low key. Bring it on.
Maybe the Enterprise goes back in time and destroys Nero's ship. George Kirk stays alive. Prime universe completely restored. Kelvin universe never happened. I know there was that was going to be Star Trek 4 before all of the actors backed out. Like Chris Hemsworth was involved to reprise as George Kirk. It was going to be a whole timey-wimey bullshit thing. Yeah.
See, that seems like such a step backwards, and like right now the biggest problem is that if they went back and reset the whole universe and that, what about poor Mr. Chekhov, Anton Yelchin?
Oh,
yeah. True.
Yeah, true. You want to read this next one about the?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's see. So you and Who's Amy writes, I'd watch a Klingon political thriller in a hot minute. Damn.
Yeah.
And also writes,
bring a
the slate clean.
series.
Ha ha ha.
See, that would be cool. That's what they're doing with all these movies now, right? Like all the movies that are coming out are backdoor pilots for series, right? Like Batman is a backdoor pilot for the Gotham PD series they're going to be doing on HBO Max. Like,
didn't they already do that already?
Yeah, but let me go on a very off-topic rant real quick. Gotham season 1 is what that whole series should have been. But then they're like, oh, let's bring in every single Batman villain. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just make this a Batman show. No, like they need to do like a Law and Order type of GCPD show, and I'm hoping that's what this is on HBO Max. Small rant over.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I have no opinions.
That's fair. That's all right. I can't wait to see the Batman. 2 weeks, baby. Can't wait. Can't wait.
So close.
So close. Guys, we are not here to talk about Batman, though. We are here to talk about this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery, and that is episode 409, Rubicon. Michael, she goes on the hunt for Book. Hawk, your thoughts on this week's episode?
So it was a good episode, but not the strongest because there were some, there were definitely some problems. That being said, let's see. Nahn came back as kind of a plant by Admiral Vance, but not really in that,
a very like public, like, hey,
yeah,
we're telling you exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
but
you're getting somebody who's going to make the hard call, but it's a friend. Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah. Some great moments between her and Burnham, both, kind and a few tense ones in that, because Nahn was there to do a specific job and was basically informed Michael that, nothing was going to get in her way of doing it. Yeah. We got a really great space battle between Discovery and Book ship. Wait a minute. What is Book ship called?
It doesn't have a name. It is
No
literally
name.
called, it is literally called Book ship. Actually, I'll be right back. You
I
keep
have
going.
a theory.
Okay. You have a theory?
Yeah. So who doesn't have a name. I am no one. I have no name. It's Odysseus, right?
Yes.
And I really hope that it's a long burn to this.
Books ship. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Because like that we can tie it into Calypso.
Okay.
And I hope there's gonna be some like weird burn. I know it won't. Let's be honest. Just that if I could write Star Trek, I would do something like this.
You'd have it with a copy of the Odyssey constantly underneath it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, come on.
Exactly. Anyways, that was probably my favorite bit of the show. The episode this week was the ship battle, and that like Discovery and Book ship just leapfrogging in front of each other, and that they had to turn control of the spore drive over to Zora, didn't they, just to make all those calculations?
I think they no, I think what she meant when she said turn it over to Zora was so Stamets could go jump, turn the calculations about how long the DMA is going to stay in that area. I thought the same thing on my first watch, and then I watched it again. I was like, oh, that's what she meant. But yeah.
My only problems came at the end of the episode, and that, because I said last week that Tarka was basically going to stab Book in the back end. That's what we got. Solid episode. There could have been some improvements in that, but we'll see what happens next week, because they're in it now.
They are in it really. Now. Yeah. Yep. Giraffe.
Do you want me to start by the good or the bad?
I'm
gonna
listen. Do what you feel is right.
So I had many problems with that episode. So many.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. There were so many things that came out weird. Like Stamets not finding the answer until the moment where they have the finger on the trigger.
I know.
Like, come on. Like, and he's here basically to be able to be the one that shoots at Book, because that's a plot device, right? That's why she's here, so Michael doesn't have to do it, and she doesn't do it, and I'm like, okay. Then there's always like, oh, we don't know where they are. They lost us. Oh, there's a magical new thing in Book's ship that like Tarka put in without Book's knowing.
I know.
No. Come on.
Book is so anal about his ship and all of that stuff. He would have never let it happen, or B, had he let it happen, somehow he let it slip, he would have figured it out very quickly. I agree.
So, okay, we can say, okay, he's like emotionally compromised, blah, blah, blah. But when the alarm rings, it goes like, I don't recognize this alarm. Dude, freak out, please. More. Like, get mad.
Please.
Yeah.
Like, somebody touches my thing, I'm going to lose it. What did it do? And it's just like, oh, I don't recognize that alarm. And then, like, everybody, like, again, it's Star Trek, and most of the time in Star Trek everybody should freak out way more, right? This is like what I always say, and they were like way chill about everything. I was not convinced how Tarka suddenly can like manipulate the ship and send the thing, and like, dude, it's way too easy. Everything is too easy. Like, he's not locked out of anything. He just like goes and like do bloop bloop bloop. Oh, look, I sent it.
Let me fire this full fucking barrage of quantum torpedoes at Discovery, because my fist can make that happen.
Yeah. Like, it's that easy to send a quantum torpedo. I'm like, okay, it's Star Trek again. No ocean, no nothing. Why not? But, like, come on. And they're just like firing at each other. Everybody's like, hey, it's okay. I know he's just like, he's not meaning to. I was like, no, he's shooting at you. React. Freaking react. And they destroy the thing, and the thing is not here. I was like,
duh.
Not one thing worked for me in this. Like, the only thing that worked was Saru and Tarina. I was like, oh yeah.
Always.
Booty call.
I love them.
Like, oh, I'm calling you so we can meditate together.
Haven
a booty call when I hear
that's
one.
A booty call. Haven on Twitch asks, why are they still using photon torpedoes in 32nd century? To which I say, maybe photon torpedoes are just that damn good. Like the technology hasn't evolved that much. Like the Enterprise E in every single movie was using a mix of quantum torpedoes and photon torpedoes. Maybe they get the job done. Look what photon torpedoes can do to a planet. I mean, I just think that maybe that's one technology that never evolved. And it's also Starfleet. Maybe they don't want their weapons to evolve. That's not what they're about. So that's my answer.
The militaries love redundancies,
Yeah.
because redundancies work and save lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So nothing really worked for me. I was disappointed that it was the episode where Nahn came back and basically didn't do much. I mean, I would have been. I don't want Book to die. Like, let's be honest.
No one wants Book.
I would have been here for like Nahn being like, I'm pushing the button.
I'm gonna
push the button.
I'm gonna send a friendly. This is a friendly jab because we're friends with them and we love them all. I was listening to Star Trek Discovery Pod last week, and a bunch of them were like, "Oh, Book might die. Maybe Book's gonna die." And Book's gonna. I'm like, "Don't you dare say that! Don't do that!" And people in the comments were yelling like, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" Like, no, Book is not gonna die.
I said it like, I don't know, several episodes before, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the moment. There's gonna be a sacrifice. There's gonna be like, they build it up so much for so many episodes, and like nothing happens. The thing is outside of the galactic barrier. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. So many issues, but there's one thing I appreciate. One thing I love when Star Trek has title that ties up to ancient history, and Rubicon is such a loaded title, right? So this is the image I have behind me. It's Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, right? And that's when he said, "Alia jacta est," the dice is cast, and I knew the name of the episode, and I was like, okay, they're gonna pass the barrier, because the Rubicon is a frontier, like a border between Rome, like Italy, basically, and the province. And Julius Caesar is recalled to Rome, has to come back to Rome, but he knows that basically they're trying to like kill him. He's like not graces. He's like kind of like, I'm gonna get fucked. But it's forbidden for a governor to pass the border of Italy with an army, and he's going to cross the border with an army.
Mm-hmm.
And when he crossed the border, he says the dice is cast, because now it's a full-blown civil war, right? That he's going to win against Pompey, and he's going to become dictator. So it's a very important moment, the moment where you cross a border and, you cannot go back. And I was like, okay, is that the galactic barrier? Who is Julius Caesar? Is that Book? Is that Michael? Is it Tarka?
I think it's destroying the DMA at the end, right? Because even though they destroy it, they win. They can't go back, because guess what? Another one shows back up. Like they are, like Hawk said, they're in it. They're in it now.
Yeah, but I'm kind of disappointed of how they use that.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like, okay, it's going to be war, a civil war. And I think that's important. For me, it was crossing the Rubicon between Michael and Book, or between Tarka and Book.
Right.
I was like, really? The DNA? I don't know. I love the title, and I want to know what they mean. Is there going to be a war? The 10C just pops a new DMA, and just like, okay, we're going to keep like mining at the same place, man, not even hurting. And I'm kind of disappointed by the title, like the use of that title for what happened in that episode. Anyway, I'm not happy.
That's fair. Listen, 9 episodes in, we've had nothing but brilliant things to say about the first 8. So this is I think that's actually a record.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
So, I think we're all on the same page this week. Is it a bad episode? No. Does it have a lot of issues? Yeah, it is by far my least favorite episode of the season. Mainly because you're already suspicious of Tarka. You know he's going to go behind Book's back. So you're just like, you're waiting for it. You're waiting for the knife, right? You're just waiting, and you know it's coming. And when it happens, there's no shock value to it. Just like, yeah, duh, he transported it into the DMA controller. Duh, that happened. Like, are you like... This is one of those instances where I really don't like it. And I know that's not the intention. This is not to badmouth the writers or anything, but I really don't like it when a show kind of makes its audience out to be a little stupid. And I felt like that kind of happened with this episode a little bit. I'm just gonna go down the list of my notes. Some of them are good things. Some
and the whole speech about the game theory, I was like, is that a reference to the dice cast? Like, is that it? Because
right.
like that sucked.
I actually
it was complicated. And I didn't understand it.
I actually really. Yeah, no, he used. Yeah, we said quantum torpedoes. Yeah, Joaquin Silly said photon torpedoes. Yeah, no, there were 4 photon torpedoes fired too, but they're the ones that Tarka did were quantum. I actually I love seeing Nahn. I thought that was the high point of the episode. I really want her back on the ship full time. They kind of hinted at that near the end of the episode. Love that she's Starfleet security because that's what she's good at, and that's apparently what Barzans are good at, which is a cool little piece of information about their race and their planet. Kind of shitty that the whole family thing didn't work out, but again, kind of looks like she may try and fix that, so that's cool. Listen, I think I'm the Girafe may try to fight me on this, but I think I'm the biggest shipper of Saru and Tarina. So my heart.
I give it to you. No worries.
My heart. And so, and tip of the hat, right, to Doug Jones, who played that so awkwardly at the end, which is like the perfect way to do it. He was like a 15-year-old in high school, like, but I love her. And I'm just like, yes, just go. And I love that Colbert calls him an idiot. He's like, you idiot. She likes you, man. Wine and dine her.
And it's refreshing because we always see like Kirk and Riker will like flirt first, anatomy later, and it's actually like we're from vastly different people, species, culture, which is what a normal person in their right mind will compute,
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a good thing that Star Trek starts talking about these things because very, very often they're just like, oh yeah, everybody gets along, party, which is good too, but
Okay, so one thing I'm going to say again is that I absolutely love Michael's honesty. That's the one thing that's always made her, one, her path to the chair and then being in the chair. Like, her honesty is one of her biggest attributes, and I love that about her. I will say, speaking of Michael, one of my biggest complaints was Michael in this episode. I don't know how to say this without being. I just feel like she may have gotten some bad direction in this episode because there were a few scenes where I just felt things were like over enunciated and like overacted, and that really took me out of the episode, and I cringed a couple of times, which has never happened in an episode of this show before. It was really strange. I don't know what happened here. Not a big deal. Cloaked jump. Awesome. Just cloaking devices in general. Love it. I really liked that they showed the crew having different opinions about what was happening. It's refreshing, right? Like that there are differing opinions, but Saru is always kind of there and Colbert to be that voice of reason. Like, listen, y'all can disagree. You're in the uniform right now. You're on mission. Let's go. And they do. And they put that shit aside and they just keep going. So I really like that.
It was weird. It was kind of, it almost like hinted like Reese was going to do something kind of.
Yeah, that would have been a surprise. That would have been kind of neat, actually. I like the whole working together thing with Nahn. I like that they have this argument, and then they kind of find the middle ground. Star Trek has kind of always been about that middle ground, and they're like, let's go to the Admiral together. I did enjoy that. There were a couple times where I really did think that Nahn was just going to be like, get out of the chair. I'm pulling the trigger. Let's go.
Absolutely. Boom.
Also would have been a really big plot twist, right? Yeah, so the biggest disappointment of this episode is you just know, right? Destroying the DMA was never going to be that easy for a species or an entity that could even produce something like that. I know it took some work to get the material and to make the weapon, but you just know that wasn't going to be it. So combined with Tarka just being a sleazy Elon Musk type of asshole, and just knowing what we're going to be doing the next couple episodes, it was underwhelming. It didn't go anywhere. Yeah. So
it just didn't make a lot of sense,
No.
It's like once they found out that this was a piece of mining equipment and that, like how many mining equipment operations do you know that have just that one single piece of equipment?
Exactly.
I think it would have sat better with me if Tarka had gotten the power source, because there was a whole new thing. What is it gonna do with it? What's happening now? You know, and like it gets nothing, and then the thing just pops back. It's like that's not crossing the Rubicon, man. Get the power source. Now we're talking Civil War. Now we're talking big problems, right? And I was just like, so we have to do it again.
And I agree with you on that. I agree with them because listen, I didn't want to bring this up, but I'm gonna bring it up. We're kind of in burn. We're kind of in burn territory again. Next week is episode 10. 10, 11, 12, 13. There's only 4 episodes left. They did not stick the landing last season. So let's really, because listen, I this is kind of taking my opinion about this back a little bit, but up until now, this has been my favorite episode, my favorite season of Discovery so far. And now I'm like, with an episode like this, just a tiny bit worried.
If they leave us on a cliffhanger, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah. Let's
leave us on a disappointing ending. I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, let's talk about the pleasant surprise a little bit more, right? Seeing Nahn back, and getting some much needed backstory for her character, which she didn't get a lot of in season 2 and season 3. What do you think about those details, right? That she shared not only about her journey back to Starfleet security, she went on a really deep Black Ops mission, lost people, and then her eventual return to Discovery in this circumstance.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like she kind of took like an opposite path than Burnham's, when Burnham was like alone for the entire year and that before reconnecting with Discovery and that, like going, doing cleanup for, those Emerald Chain holdouts and that, and like apparently some very bloody missions and that. That lack of connection she had to family and that kind of like drove her to a really dark place and that. So it's kind of an interesting contrast to Michael and what she went through.
Agreed.
I thought it was weak. Like, not the story. The story by itself is good, but the way he's like delivered in between 2 doors, like, I lost a lot of people. I was Black Ops. Like, and they're like, I don't get like at least a flashback, half an episode, like nothing. It's just like
an anecdote.
I don't know.
It's an anecdote over tea. And she's like, oh, my family, they were there, but I couldn't tell them anymore. And I know that maybe that's the way she wants to play the character, or they want to like display the Barzin. But I was just like, she doesn't seem like, I don't know, big things that she was saying, like super, like not chill, but a bit like, well, that's why I'm here now. Okay.
I don't know. See, that I disagree on, because that is her character, is duty above all else, and she's always had that really calm and cool demeanor. I mean, look, dude, she straight up airlocks Arium in season 2 without
true, but
question,
she looks bothered. At least
she looks bothered because she can only she's breathing like 50% of like her capacity because one of her breathers is gone.
She has a lot of like emotion behind it, and there's a lot of like back and forth and like loaded conversation, and you see that she did it because that's her duty and somebody needed to do it, but she knows it impacts the crew, and she killed somebody, right? But here she says it's such like I'm like, are you okay? Like, I don't know, I think I wanted a little bit, not drama, but she's an important character. When she left, you remember when she left, what I said? I was like, oh, how can they let her leave that blah like this? Like, no, no explanation, no nothing, like, oh, bye-bye. And everybody was, we're going to see her again. We're going to see her again that season. We didn't see her at all in the season, right? And now she comes back and she's like, yeah, I have families, but I can't talk to her. And I killed a lot of people, and most of my crew died. And now I'm here. Can I
don't know. Here? I just didn't see it played that way. I don't know. I disagree with you on this one. That's okay. Let's move on. Book and Burn. Wait, Hawk, did you go on this? I forget.
I talked at the beginning. Also, can I just mention quickly in that Jet Reno was mentioned in the episode, but never seen.
Right?
But again. Never seen. It's a shame Eric isn't here to dock a point off the episode.
No Jet Reno.
No Jet Reno. Furious. 1 point. Yeah. Guys, Book and Burnham this episode. Just this awesome. Like, if you want to talk about a plus about this episode, this awesome game of cat and mouse. Hats off. Big hats off to the visual effects team this episode, because holy shit, this is where the budget went for this episode, and damn, was it really cool. Just action. We needed some action in this season. It's still very much a lover's quarrel, right? Like, this isn't a broken up couple quarreling. This is two very much people in love still quarreling together.
For considering the stakes at hand in that, they seem to be having a little too much fun in that. It's like, aha.
Yeah, you shoot at my family, you shoot at my crew with freaking like torpedo. I'm not like, everything is cool, guys. We're still friends. I was like, no, motherfucker, I'm gonna like again, like the stakes are so high. Like, cut it. Like, oh my god. I don't know. I can't with this. I can't with this episode. I'm not happy with it. I liked it in All In. I thought it was great in All In. Don't give me that every single episode. People grow. Right now, they're like firing at each other. Don't be like, it's okay, it's just a game. It's abuse, man. Don't stop it. Stop firing at people. People are gonna die. Like those lower deckers. Do you think of those lower deckers?
No one died. No one died.
Huh? People getting like
no one
like
died.
This?
They know what they were doing.
Violence. So much violence.
Yeah. So you were not a fan of the lovers' quarrel?
No. I think it's cute in like some episode, but I don't think. I think it's not so great when you add violence to a lover's quarrel and to still trying to portray it cute. I'm not agreeing with this. When people start firing at each other, we have another problem.
Yeah.
Poker game, sure, right? Platinum, like betting, sure. When they're firing at each other, it's not cute anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that Michael is like, it's all good, we're still friends. Like, no, they're firing at you, woman. React. So that's where I draw a line, but that's personal, I guess.
Fair. Yep. Let's talk about one of the biggest low points of this episode, which is just the incredible, just predictableness of Tarka burning Book here. No pun intended. Maybe much pun intended because Brittany's not here and someone's got to do it. Burns Book, transports the weapon into the DMA controller. Just pretty disappointing. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. And yeah, as Girafe pointed out, like, I think this was a problem with the writers in that. And it's like, they didn't really write Book's character well with this because, like, okay, I get that he wanted revenge in that. I get that he placed trust in Tarka to get it done. But at the same time, Book is a courier, lived his life as a courier, having to deal with shady people and knowing never trust anyone except yourself.
That's like rule number 1, right?
Yeah. So Tarka's on the ship in that, but he didn't put any measures in place to make sure that he didn't do something crazy like this because, like, he already knew right off the bat Tarka's motivations were not pure and simple or altruistic in that and trying to protect the galaxy.
Yeah
Tarka had something personal to gain out of this, and he wanted this done more so for that than for anything else, but didn't lock him out of ship's control even after he did the console slam and launched a bunch of quantum torpedoes at the thing. Why writers, why do Book like that?
I think Tarka is still the only character that I really like. Constantly, like, not that I like what he's doing, but I think I like how the character is developing, and I knew that we know that there's something else. We know that he may be lying. We know that he has, like, an agenda, that he has, like, he's not at plan A or plan B. He's, like, at plan, like, W. The guy is ready. And I really like characters like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's revealing and something is going to happen. But he's not at all a asshole too. Like, he does care about Book. He doesn't want Book to die, right? But he's like, oh, like, they're gonna die in the shuttle, so what? Like, you're like, oh, complex character.
Yeah, I do see that, like, because if he really wanted to do this and just be a dick about it, he could have, like, transported Book off the ship, or he could have killed Book. Yeah, he could have killed Book.
Yeah.
Like, he does. Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's not, like, 100% like evil villain, like profit. Yeah. So yeah. I want to read this comment from Bush Lepew. I think I'll still mostly disagree, but it is a good point to bring up. His judgment has been suspect, speaking of Book, this whole season because of his planet. I don't think that this is so surprising, which is a good point. But if you see the way that Book plays things in the last episode, he's still on point, right? Like, he still knows how to play the game. He tells Tarka, like, not to get involved or to hurry things up. He's not trustworthy of him already. And Book is one of those people that has, like, a love affair with their ship. Nothing happens to their ship, no matter if your planet's been destroyed or not, who doesn't know anything that hasn't happened on that ship, right? Like, the minute anything has changed, you know. So I get the whole thing about the grief, but I don't think it's quite correct. I think that it was just a bit of, like, not great character development on the part there. So Buick Spacewagon says it's not good to make Tarka look smart by having other characters be dumb, and I would agree with that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. And that's always the problem with smart characters, because smart characters are depicted or written by how people think smart people operate, which is never like this,
right?
And yeah, I just want to see what's the long burn in that story. That's all. I'm curious. I'm still curious about Tarka. Really curious about him.
I feel like we're gonna get answers sooner rather than later. Not really a lot to go. There are a couple of more moments of discourse among the crew, like we mentioned earlier. Did we like that there were disagreements, like a couple of people siding with Book, a couple of people siding with the Federation?
Yeah. And it's realistic.
Yeah.
Everybody is not going to be Starfleet above all.
Right.
Like, people are allowed to have opinions, and we start to see, like, the background of these characters, that they lost people. I mean, they lost their world, literally. And the way we relate to tragedy is so personal. Like, for example, me, I'm like, yeah, lover squirrel. If you shoot at me, this is not a lover squirrel anymore. It's not cute anymore, because that's my personal history, right?
Right.
But so I like the fact that they're still building these differences inside the crew. I really like the away team, people that we don't see all the time, and that they get a little bit more. We got Owoshekun last week. We got Bryce and Rhys, right? And like, yes, build them, give me more.
It was a cool combination of crew members: Bryce, Rhys, Saru, and Culber. Like, that's never a combination that we've had on the show before, so I appreciated that. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just like I said, I think, I like that there's disagreement in that, but I thought, like, this was going to lead to somewhere else in that, especially with Rhys and that,
Saru and Tarina sitting in a tree. KISSING. I love them. I want more of that arc. Give me more. Show me their date.
I have one problem, is that
I'm rolling my eyes.
I don't know where their connection is. Not that I need to know. I'm cool if I never know where the connection is between, where does it come from. But it's just like, usually in, like, love stories, you always see, like, oh, they're gonna connect on that thing, and I'm still wondering on what they're connecting.
Meditation.
Sarah and Tarina.
Meditation.
Oh, get out of here.
No.
You know what I mean?
I think I see the connection there, in that Tarina is not the typical, like, Vulcan in that. I don't know if that has something to do with, like, Vulcan society after, like, the whole the unification, and that when when Romulus was destroyed, suddenly there's this whole sorts of influx of new culture and people into the planet and that, but not a typical Vulcan in that. It talks a lot about, like, feelings, and she mentioned joy. Which is something that we've never heard Spock talk about his joys or his simple pleasures in life, and that, or any of his feelings in that. So, and in that way, it seems to kind of match Saru in that, because Saru as a character, we always kind of looked to him as, like, kind of the Spock of the show in that, and yet he leads this very complex interior emotional life too in that. So I see that they're kind of like two kind of
awkward people.
Awkward people, outsiders, maybe a little bit of outsiders in their own cultures and that, but I think it works.
Yeah.
Definitely on a
Like
spiritual
you
level.
like tea, okay? Apparently they like tea. They like meditation. Do you like books?
I like
what is
tea,
it?
I
You
like
know, just
meditating, and I like flowers. Let's Ponfar on. Let's go. Oh man. Finally, I think we've all used the word at one point or another, like underwhelming, right? Like the DMA does get destroyed, but like the DMA getting destroyed should have been this really big fucking deal, and it wasn't. Another one shows up, but listen, we're 8 episodes going into 9, or no, sorry, 9 episodes in. This thing has destroyed a planet, and just getting near it, right? Like, was scary in those first 8 episodes. You didn't even want to think about the consequences. Now there's just another DMA, right? Like, are we worried a little bit that the 10C and the DMA are going to suffer the same fate as the burn?
Kind of. If the quality dips, like, in episode 9, we still have 4 more episodes to go in that. So it's like right now that scariness is coming up, when they basically build up to a finale, and that just, does not stick the landing. So I'm a little worried. That being said, Tarka's whole thing, the whole idea of destroying the DMA was asinine to begin with, especially after learning that it is like, a piece of mining equipment. And it's like, oh, that one got destroyed. Send out another one.
Or it's
So
powered from somewhere else, so they
Yeah.
didn't even like really send anything. No, right?
again, some of the I'd have to go back and rewatch, and some of it is a little confusing in that. I'm still wondering, like this whole thing about where the
Apparently
power
it's
source
powered from the other end of like the DMA is being controlled by a wormhole, and it's powered by like a control, like the power source is at the other end of a wormhole. That's what I get, but who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have like the power source where they are, and
Yeah.
they power their thing through a wormhole with
Yeah.
power source that they own, which is basically very smart. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to just lose your power source to
No.
any like dumbass around.
Tarka was kind of an idiot for not thinking about that, if we're being completely honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm scared of is that there's nobody on the other end. Like that they make up like it's something automated or something. I'm like, no, there better be people. I want to know who they are. I swear, if it's a baby crying, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's like not possible, okay? It's not a crash ship. It's not a contained experiment. It's not something went wrong. It's not like, oh, they send this mining equipment, but now they're all dead, and it's just a mining equipment that is by itself going rogue. I swear, Star Trek, if you do that to me, I'm gonna lose my mind. There better be somebody on the other end. So that's the only thing. So far, it's like I see it building. Like there used to be this civilization, and they used to mine, but then they killed each other in this terrible war, and now that thing is rogue by itself. No, bad Star Trek. So yeah.
Quickly, may I just read from Twitch?
Are you going to read what I was going to read? Because you should. It's amazing.
You and Who's Amy writes, it's going to be 2 crying babies.
Oh,
No.
man. Okay, so that wasn't what I was going to read, so that's a good one too. This is one of I think the best exchanges we've had on our Twitch ever. Buick Spacewagon asked the question, why is mining equipment always the most powerful thing in Star Trek? Which Haven answered, because we need justice for Nero.
Yes. It has happened.
Guys, let's rate this one out of 10 DMA controllers. We'll go from the top of the show. Hawk, your rating.
I'm gonna give this one a solid 7. Weakest episode of the season, which has been a fantastic season, but like I said, we're approaching the end game and that, so it's if the cracks are starting to show this early, I'm a little worried. So I'm giving it a 7.
Girafe.
Yeah, I gave last week an 8.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go way lower. I think a 5 or 6. I'm gonna go 5.5. Really not convinced by that episode at all. Nothing in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 6.5 out of 10. Yeah. There were some really fun things, but it was just not there for me this week.
Yeah.
So, but hey, 8 weeks of great episodes. That's a pretty damn good streak. So I'm not really
And
complaining.
it's normal.
Yeah, it is normal. I'm not
mean,
complaining too much. Yeah. We only had 1 rating on Twitch so far, but if you'd like to rate it Twitch, let us know. I know Haven's mailbag rating is in the mailbag, so we'll just wait to read theirs on when we get to there. Speaking of the mailbag, let's get to it. It is the subspace to poll and mailbag.
Hailing frequencies are open.
Who wants to read the poll this week?
I can read it.
Yeah.
Okay, we asked what Trek Twitter thought about episode 409 Rubicon, and this was their response.
Wait, can I interrupt you real quick? Sorry, can I interrupt you real quick? Because I want to respond to this on Twitch real quick, because this is very important. Butch LePew wrote, I loved it after I watched it, and now I'm not so sure. To which I want to say, if you loved it, that's awesome. We all have our opinions on it, right? As
Absolutely.
do everyone in the Twitch. Don't let us take away your enjoyment of this episode. There are episodes that Girafe loves that I don't like. There's episodes that Hawk doesn't like that I like. That's how things work. We are just giving our opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, and I changed opinion. I hated Picard season 1 and now I love it. So don't worry.
If you loved it, that's awesome. You should never change your opinion just based off of ours. I wanted to make that clear. Sorry, Girafe. Continue with the subspace to poll.
So 47% said Nanderful. I had to read that twice. 23% said none too shabby. 13% said non-starter. 17% said should have stayed cloaked. Why didn't you just say like Nan?
You know, I really thought about it at the end. I'm like, oh shit, I really could have made all of these non-related. And I really wanted to, but I couldn't think of anything at the end because I was so damn tired. And now that you said it, I'm like, Nahn.
Damn it.
For once, I got a pun. So please, I'm getting there.
Yeah. And Buick makes another good point, right? Like we could have a very different opinion of this episode when the entire season's over. He says, I thought this had some really special moments, but I think it's tough to judge individual episodes of a show that's written as a season-long narrative, which is also another great point. So, yep.
And that was the problem with Picard.
Yep, exactly. Hawk, why don't you take the first mailbag from Eric Davis?
Sure. Eric Davis wrote, Full Rage Monster. If the next episode don't start with Tarka getting knocked the fuck out by Book, we riot.
Thank you.
Book was saved. He found the middle ground, the way back to Burnham, everything under the bridge and forgiven. And that POS had to do it anyway. And for nothing. More calmly. But besides my rage for where we're at, that was a great episode. Definitely a middle act gearing up for the final curtain. As always, you guys are amazing and keep up the great job.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that. You're up, Draft. Why don't you hit Butch LePew's mailbag?
Butch LePew wrote, first reaction was mouth hanging open, thinking, what? Honestly, in my memory, curveballs throwing us for a giant loop like that aren't a usual thing. We normally build over a season to a fairly satisfying conclusion at the end. Well done, Disco team. Seeing Nahn was great. Her history from making the difficult call was in full force here. I liked her role in this. The build-up of the tension was well done. The cat and mouse game of the two ships was fun. And Mr. Surrey gonna start up with Madam President.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. 10-10.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read Lexi's. An enjoyable episode. Great having Nahn back, and every moment of Saru and Tarina was pure steam. Meditating together, scandalous. Get a room, you absolutely hound dogs. Oh, love it. Book and Burnham were excellent as always, and the risk of war being sparked with another galaxy is keeping the dramatic tension alive.
That's true.
Nice. Back to you, Hawk.
Yeah, Haven wrote, this episode was enjoyable, but the whole scene with Tarka firing everything was so unbelievably predictable. Agreed.
Yep.
I love how at the end of the episode it leaves it open for Nahn to come back, but doesn't confirm she will come back or not. Also, we didn't get Reno on screen, yes, but at least they mentioned her.
Couldn't even show like a reused shot, right?
Yeah, not even. They're just like
file photo, sorry. But at least I mentioned her. So instead of losing a full point for No Jet Reno, I'm going to give it a half point for mentioning her. So I will rate this 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. And I know that Noe has been waiting for this moment. Giraffe, why don't you read Yum Yum Pods?
Yum Yum Pod wrote, we give this episode a yum yum.
Yeah. Yum Yum for Nahn. Love it. Love it.
So I'm the only weirdo that has a problem with that episode. Okay.
With what episode?
With this episode.
No, we all had a problem with this episode.
We all had our
I
problems
know.
with it.
But I'm like, 5.5, bury it.
That's still 50%. That's not like as a 2, you know?
I never give a 2.
You should read my blog post from our other podcast from my final on the final episode of Picard. Whew. Whew.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was bad.
Rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, that was rough. That's true.
Yeah. Guys, that is gonna do it for this week's show. Big week coming up. Guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Cats Picard week, right? It's gonna be good stuff. So excuse me. Just so everybody is aware, next Thursday, I'm going to pull this up real quick. We'll have 2 live streams that day because that is the beginning of Cats and Picard week. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of our awesome Discord collective members, her new podcast, Kara with the Star Dispatch, will be kicking off Cats and Picard week with her show, and then we'll be on in the evening with our normal Discovery review. Also, just as a little bit of a small welcoming ceremony for Captain Picard week. We might talk a little bit about some of our favorite Picard moments before going into our review. So yeah, can't wait. Right after the show, if people want to, it's not a given. We'll see if it happens. Let's say 11 p.m. Eastern time. It is the anniversary of the premiere of the Voyager episode Dark Frontier. So it's the kind of telemovie that they did, a really great like hour, 20-minute episode. If you'd like to get in the watch-alongs and watch that, let's do it. But for everybody else, I will say that'll do it for this week. For Giraffe, for Hawk, I'm Julian. I say live long and prosper. Majram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the